Hello, I'm Dani. Welcome to the workshop. Today we will make a practice on sketch entities, sketch relations, and dimensions on the level required to pass SolidWorks Certification Associate exam. This is our model in which we will practice the sketch entities and sketch tools, also sketch relations and dimensions. First, we should pick a plane in which we will start. If your planes are not visible, you have to choose one from the feature tree. When you point a plane, it will show you its orientation. I'm picking the front plane in this case and just start a new sketch. Then I want my view orientation to be towards the plane. Either I go in the menu and choose normal 2, or we can use Ctrl 8. So first we will make a rectangle. We have 5 different options for rectangle. I will make a 3-point center rectangle because I want to define the center and I don't want it to be with horizontal and vertical sides. So this is our rectangle. Now I will pick this construction line and I will make it vertical. The next thing I will do is to make the sides equal. And to define the sizes. Just for information, you can add also the other size, but as driven. This way it won't over-define your sketch. So you will see the size, but it will not change the sketch itself. The next thing that I want to do is to add circles in the edges. First type of circle is center point circle. It's also working in this case. You can click on the center line and just make it tangent. But if you don't have center line, the better option will be to choose the other, which is 3-point, and just pick one of the sides, then the other of the sides, and somewhere inside is the 3rd point. What I would like to make next is to make all these circles equal. With Control click you can choose them all and choose them to be equal. And we want to make the size, like for example 6 millimeters. Now I have to trim not necessary things. There are many different ways to do so. We can use either power trim or trim to closest. I would not recommend to use power trim because we will trim this way also our center lines, and we need them for the definition of our rectangle. So I would take trim to closest. This will trim the line to the closest coincident point, or the circle in this case. Power trim, however, we can use on the outer side. As you can see, everywhere you touch with the power trim, it will be trimmed. After the trimming, it seems that our shape is again underdefined, so we choose the point in the middle and choose the line and make it a midpoint. The other thing which is not defined in our case is that this and this should be perpendicular. Then the other, because we are missing the corners, now we should attach the circle to the line with coincident, and we should add tangency where it's missing. When you click on an arc, you will see what kind of relation it has, or any line shape. So now the inner part is ready, and we will make the outer part, but in a bit different way. In this case I will use lines. I want this to be parallel to this line. Same for each side. And now we will add arcs. In the arcs menu we have three different: center point arc, tangent arc, and 3-point arc. We can use center point arc when we have a defined center. Like this. Tangent arc when we want it to be tangent to our line from which we are starting. For tangent we need a line. And we can also use the 3-point arc in this case, which we choose 2 points for the ends of the arc and just drag it around. But the most comfortable will be tangent because we will have less definitions afterwards. So now we pick each arc and make it tangent to the lines that we already have. Now next that we want to do, for this arc the center point is defined, but for the other three not. We pick our arc and a center point and give concentric. The other way is to pick one arc and another arc and again choose concentric. Now both our arcs and lines are almost fully defined. The only thing that we have to add here is the distance between, which will be 1.5. And our sketch is fully defined, it's whole black, and we can continue to the next step. You're going back to the front plane. In a case you can start your sketch or a feature from a plane, better do so instead of starting from one of the faces, because when we have change in the body that we have already, it may damage your relations, or it may disappear the face that you have used, and then you will have a problem. Now what we have to do is to add something on which we will hang our keychain. The only thing we still have not covered from the sketch entities is ellipse. To make an ellipse, you start from the center point, one side, other side. You can make the ellipse tangent. You can also make ellipse concentric. You can also make points constant. So we will pick first these two and make them vertical, and then we will take the top one and make it vertical to the center. The other 2 points are usually, so actually not usually, they are always perpendicular on these two if you put a line in between, so you don't have to define them too. Now you have to define the height. And the width. Now the easiest way to make the outer side, if it will be on equal distance from everywhere, is just to make an offset. In this case my offset is with 1 millimeter. You can change the direction of the offset. The other options I will show a little bit later. So we are going again to the front plane and add a new sketch, because we actually want to have this Apple logo inside. We're starting a circle from the midpoint and make it tangent to the sides. And now it's fully defined. And now we will convert the entities. You can either select them one by one, like this, or you can clear the whole selection or one by one. If you mark select chain, it will choose the complete closed contour. I will hide the original sketch. Now what I would like to add here is another shape. I will choose again the front plane. We start with center point, rectangle, make the sides equal, add a center line to define the angle on which we want to do it. Then define also the size of our rectangle. And now what we want to do is to convert the outer lines here. So we go to convert entities, pick the face, and it will automatically convert only the outer lines. If you want to convert the inner lines, you either select all inner loops. When you click this button, it will automatically select all inner loops. It's very comfortable when you have many different inner loops inside your geometry, or you can mark here inner loops one by one. At the moment you click on one edge, it will select the whole inner loop. At this point I just need the outer, so I will just hit OK. Now I want this as a construction geometry. If you're wondering how I'm able to select all of this, when shaded sketch contour is active, you can click on the shaded area and it will select all of the sketches that are forming this contour. So I'm making this for construction. Then the next step for me will be to trim with trim to closest these lines here. And the next step will be to add a fillet. The big advantage of the fillet is that it creates automatically tangent arc which are equal for all the measurements that you're done in one fillet. You can either pick a point or pick two lines. Now our fillet is ready. We go out from this operator and we want to make an offset. We want to reverse the offset to make it 1.5. And as you can see at the moment it's ending like this, which is not very well. Maybe it was better if I made it for the other direction, for the inner offset. And then you can add a cap ends lines to close your offset geometry. What I will do now, I will add construction lines for my main geometry. And this way I will be able to change the size. These two should be perpendicular, and you can see that our sketch is again fully defined. We just continue with offset of the other entities. As you can see, once we have done it, the next offset is starting with exactly the same options. When you're offsetting lines which are in your sketch, so drawn in your sketch, you can choose more than one contour, but sometimes it's causing troubles, like in this case, so then you should go one by one. Oh, here it worked for this too. Now I have close contours and I can make my feature without any problem. Let's just change a little bit the preview. So our Apple keychain is ready. Don't forget to like the video. If you want to see more such videos, subscribe for the channel. This way you will also support me. If you have some questions, ask them in the comment section. The next video will be for extrude, boss and cut at the level for associate exam. Bye!